Love is meant to be a source of joy, comfort, and growth in our lives. Yet for millions of people worldwide, what begins as a fairy tale romance gradually transforms into something far more sinister. The transition from healthy love to toxic manipulation is often so gradual that victims find themselves trapped before they even realize what has happened. Today, we explore 5 critical warning signs that are consistently overlooked until the damage becomes undeniable. Understanding these red flags could be the difference between escaping early and spending years recovering from emotional trauma. The patterns we will discuss today are not about occasional disagreements or personality clashes. These are systematic behaviors that erode your sense of self-worth and autonomy, often disguised as expressions of love and care. The first red flag that people consistently ignore is isolation disguised as devotion. In the beginning, it feels romantic when your partner wants to spend every moment with you. They express how much they love your company and suggest that time spent with others takes away from your special bond. Gradually, comments about your friends and family become more frequent and pointed. Your partner may claim that certain people are bad influences or do not have your best interests at heart. They create reasons why social gatherings are inconvenient or unnecessary. What makes this particularly insidious is that the isolation happens incrementally. You might notice you have not spoken to your best friend in weeks, or that family dinners have become rare occurrences. By the time you realize how small your support network has become, you may feel too embarrassed to reach out or genuinely believe that your partner's concerns about others were justified. The second warning sign is the subtle erosion of your decision-making power. Healthy relationships involve mutual respect for individual choices and collaborative decision-making on shared matters. However, toxic partners gradually take control over decisions both large and small. It might start with seemingly helpful suggestions about your appearance, career choices, or daily routines. These suggestions slowly become expectations, then demands. You may find yourself asking for permission for things that should be entirely your choice, such as how to spend your money, what to wear, or which hobbies to pursue. The toxic partner often justifies this control as concern for your well-being or as evidence of how much they care about you. They might frame their interference as protection or guidance, making you feel ungrateful for resisting their input. The third red flag involves emotional manipulation through guilt and fear. Toxic partners become masters at making you feel responsible for their emotional state and behavior. They may threaten self-harm when you express dissatisfaction or desire for space. They create scenarios where you feel guilty for having needs or boundaries, suggesting that your requests are unreasonable or hurtful to them. This manipulation extends to making you fear the consequences of disappointing them. They may give you the silent treatment, become verbally aggressive, or withdraw affection as punishment for perceived slights. Over time, you learn to monitor their moods constantly and adjust your behavior to avoid triggering their negative reactions. The fourth warning sign is the systematic destruction of your self-esteem through criticism disguised as constructive feedback. Initially, these comments might seem helpful or motivated by genuine concern. However, they become increasingly frequent and harsh, targeting your appearance, intelligence, capabilities, and character. What makes this particularly damaging is that toxic partners often alternate between criticism and affection, creating a confusing cycle that keeps you hoping for their approval. They may apologize for harsh words while simultaneously reinforcing that their criticism was justified because they love you enough to help you improve. The fifth and perhaps most dangerous red flag is the normalization of disrespect and boundary violations. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect for personal boundaries, whether physical, emotional, or psychological. Toxic partners test these boundaries early and often, starting with small violations to gauge your response. They may read your private messages, show up uninvited to your workplace, or pressure you into uncomfortable situations. When confronted, they minimize these actions or turn the situation around to make you feel like the unreasonable one. They convince you that privacy is unnecessary in a loving relationship or that your discomfort indicates a problem with your commitment to them. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward protecting yourself or someone you care about. Love should enhance your life, not diminish it. Trust your instincts, maintain your connections with others, and remember that healthy love never requires you to sacrifice your identity or well-being.